The road to WrestleMania is starting a little bit earlier in 2025, as Triple H has already mentioned that January 6th, the debut of Monday Night Raw on Netflix, will officially kick off the road to WrestleMania. So what that means are the news, the rumors, the speculation, that is also starting a little bit early. And as we've already discussed this week, WWE wants CM Punk in one of the two main events in Las Vegas for WrestleMania 41. We thought it was going to be with Seth Rollins because CM Punk and Seth Rollins one-on-one has already been announced for January 6th on Netflix. But it might not be Seth Rollins and CM Punk at WrestleMania. Now there are rumors that WWE wants CM Punk versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41. What is being discussed and what is the latest? I got it all for you right here on today's Off the Script. Major push coming for Drew McIntyre in 2025, and SmackDown is officially 3 hours on January 3rd. We got the latest on all that and more today for your December 21st edition of Off the Script. We'll start with Friday Night SmackDown. SmackDown is back on the USA Network, and 2025 is going to be a big year, probably the biggest year for WWE. Raw is going to be more closer to 3 hours than it has been in the last several months, and SmackDown is now moving from 2 hours to 3 hours on Friday night. Rumors of this expansion first surfaced several weeks ago, courtesy of WrestleVotes, but WWE remained very tight-lipped until yesterday's confirmation. The decision to extend Raw to 3 hours several years ago came because it was a USA Network decision. Fans didn't like it. They still don't like it. They prefer the 2-hour show. But now, SmackDown and Raw reportedly are going to be 3 hours. This change not only alters the viewing experience for fans, but also opens up significant opportunities for WWE's roster. That was one of the very few criticisms from the fans on social media. Not everybody's going to be used like they were being used at 3 hours. The shows fit a 3-hour format more so nowadays than the 2-hour format. I don't really understand that mentality. I don't understand that logic, as you guys seen perfectly with the Raw that happened in the beginning of December, right after Survivor Series, that New Day celebration. How great of a show was that? Monday Night Raw. It's one of the best Monday Night Raws of the entire year. And that was a 2-hour show. You don't need the show to be 3 hours. All you need to do is book a good 2-hour show. A show at 2 hours that makes sense and flows great. A little bit of drama, a little bit of promo, vignette, a little bit of pro wrestling. It all works out at 2 hours. I don't really feel like the show needs to be 3 hours, but WWE is expanding in every aspect. They're going bigger and better next year, so clearly the 3 hours for both Raw and SmackDown are definitely going to be a part of that. But the roster not being utilized to its fullest potential was definitely one of the criticisms from the online fan base. With the additional hour of programming, SmackDown can showcase a wider range of talent and potentially introduce new storylines and match formats. This move comes off the heels of the recent introduction of the Women's United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship, which will be decided on January 6th, Raw on Netflix. So they're expanding the women's division. Hopefully they aid in the tag team division. And everybody that you are not seeing on television hopefully gets a spot on television come 2025. I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. Triple H has done a very good job as the lead of creative on WWE television, both for Raw and for SmackDown. These shows feel, at some points, I'm going to be honest with you, these shows sometimes feel boring. Sometimes these shows feel very safe. There's not a lot that happens some weeks on these shows, but the shows and the way that they come off, the way that they feel, the way that they're presented, they're a lot better now than they were just a couple of years ago when we all knew Vince McMahon was still in charge. So this move from 2 to 3 hours is a little bit less of an eye-opener. It's a little bit less of a blow than it was then. Then we were getting bad television. So expanding bad television from 2 to 3 hours is terrible. Now we're looking at expanding 2 to 3 hours when the television is obviously better. I've always been of the mentality that less is more, quality over quantity, but Triple H is at the helm. He's in charge. I trust the process. Not every show is a banger. Not every show is even good. I would rather the show be okay and be 3 hours than fucking boring, completely boring. But I feel like this is going to be an okay move. I'm not going to really sit here and complain about it. I feel like Triple H is going to do a very good job. And we're going into WrestleMania season. So at least for the first 4 months of the year next year, from January to April, we know we're going to get must-see television. So the blow is not going to be that in your face. And reportedly, this is supposed to be a trial process. We don't know what that means. I've heard reports that this is going to be a soft trial from January to at least the summer to see how they do and how they operate at 3 hours on Friday night. If the ratings aren't coming in and the ratings aren't really doing anything to make USA Network happy, maybe they go back to 2 hours. But right now we're getting a SmackDown at 3 hours in the midst of WrestleMania season, and I don't really think it's that bad of an idea. Plus, you guys get me for an extra hour on a Friday night, an extra hour on Monday night. It's more content for me to make, more content for me to talk about, more content for you to sit there and enjoy. So, I think there are more positives than there are negatives, especially now with Triple H compared to Vince McMahon. We'll take it week by week, but SmackDown is going to 3 hours on Friday, January 3rd. That is also the week before the debut Netflix. So I don't know what's going to happen as far as that in the transfer window. We could see vastly different rosters as well, which is very exciting. I don't know how the rosters are going to shape up. I don't know who's going to be on Monday. I don't know who's going to be on Friday. So we will all figure that out together when we get to January 3rd and then on into January 6th when we get to that debut show on Netflix. But SmackDown is moving to 3 hours starting January 3rd, 2025. Drew McIntyre. He is slated for a huge push, huge focus on Drew McIntyre going into 2025. And this is coming from WrestleVotes via their Sportskeeda Backstage Pass on Patreon. Drew McIntyre has been in big feuds throughout the year, whether it's beating Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, ultimately losing it to Seth Rollins, beating Seth Rollins, then losing it to Damian Priest. And then CM Punk was obviously an integral part of that, which led to the best feud in all of 2025 between Punk and McIntyre. Right now, he's feuding with Sami Zayn. He's going after the bloodline. He's targeting Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and ultimately Roman Reigns. That is his mission statement going into 2025. But there is now a big focus on Drew McIntyre going into the new year. WrestleVote says, and I quote, "So with the recent return of Drew McIntyre, we are told from a source that WWE feels as though McIntyre is on the cusp, if not already there, of becoming, and I quote, a significant main event upper echelon attraction, and they attribute some of this to his work over the last 10 months with CM Punk." Wow, CM Punk is making bigger stars in WWE, man. I mean, for all the people that hate what the guy does, he's seemingly working like a charm in WWE. A source states that McIntyre's viral comments on Busted Open Radio last week were not scripted in any way, and that WWE loved the reaction to what went down. Now, we're told that McIntyre will be a huge focus as we head into 2025. Now, during this TikTok live stream that he held just a couple of days ago, McIntyre talked about what it will be like when he meets Cody Rhodes, giving you a glimpse as to where he's going in 2025 when they eventually meet face to face. Now, Rhodes also stood side by side with Roman Reigns. So, for all we know, McIntyre's mission statement and his quest to eliminate the bloodline, everybody that stood side by side with Roman Reigns, who did him wrong for several years, is going to be in the path of Drew McIntyre. So that could be Cody Rhodes. He says this about Cody Rhodes: "I don't want to give too much away on here," meaning that we could see this eventual clash next year. "It's going to be significant when the time comes, and he says his piece and I say my piece. I think the world is going to be along for the ride. Feelings will be hurt, as well as bodies will be hurt along the way. For now, I went out and redefined what an independent wrestler meant. He ended up forming another company and taking it to the next level. Cody and I, it's going to be big when it happens, end quote. So they've worked several times in the past before, but their last televised match was in February on an episode of Raw that saw McIntyre go over as Cody was being built for the main event of WrestleMania at that point earlier this year for his main event match with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. McIntyre was on Busted Open Radio with Dave LaGreca and Bully Ray, Tommy Dreamer as well, and he walked out on set during their holiday podcast at the Sirius XM studios here in New York City. And he complained how the wrestling business has taken everything away from him and has given him nothing back. And he went on to criticize the people online that criticized the product and criticized the performers in the ring. And he ended saying, I don't give a shit what anybody online has to say about me. And he threw the microphone down and walked off the set, completely unscripted. Dave LaGreca looked like he was in a deer in headlights. He didn't know what was going on. Bully Ray with a jaw wide open, didn't know what to expect. McIntyre is great at blurring the lines. McIntyre and CM Punk, Drew McIntyre and CM Punk had such a unbelievable feud in 2024 that it will probably end up being the feud of the year when all is said and done. Him going into 2025 with a major focus, and WrestleVotes says that a significant main event upper echelon attraction is what they want to make him into in 2025. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news here, but he's already there. So I don't really understand why we are now just coming to an understanding that McIntyre is where he is right now, and then he will be elevated. McIntyre has already been an upper echelon main event attraction. I don't understand why it's taken this long. Yeah, a feud with CM Punk is going to put him on the map more so than a feud with anybody else on the roster. But this is what's been sleeping. The sleeping giant, the sleeping dragon has been awoken. And now you're getting Drew McIntyre the way that he's always should have been presented. And what's going to happen next year is if McIntyre is not holding championship gold next year, then somewhere along the lines creatively has fucked up. Because that's exactly where it's leading. Whether it's taking the belt off of Punk if he wins it at WrestleMania or wins it earlier in the year, wins it from a John Cena who wins it after capturing title number 17, or he takes it from Gunther and he's the leader of Monday nights. I don't give a shit who it is or where it comes from. Drew McIntyre should be holding world championship gold sometime in 2025. He's already a significant upper echelon main event attraction. And the work with CM Punk just highlighted what we've already known. He's already been there. So I can't wait for it. It could not happen to a more deserving individual. And McIntyre, every time he's on TV, whether it is Monday night, whether it is Friday night, he's a must-see guy. You stop what you're doing. You stop putting your phone first in front of your face. You stop whatever you're doing, and you watch and listen to what this guy has to do and what this guy has to say. That's the type of guy that he has become. So I can't wait to see what happens in 2025. Very much looking forward to whatever Drew McIntyre does next. And he will, I'm assuming, have a major role at WrestleMania 41. What that is right now is not really known, but it should be a major, major, major match for him and another stepping stone to get him where everybody knows he should be. CM Punk. We mentioned CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, and we mentioned that CM Punk and Seth Rollins are embarking on a feud that could potentially take them into WrestleMania 41. This was my prediction not only just a few days ago. I said Seth Rollins and CM Punk is going to start on January 6th, and we're going to get a multi-match series out of the two, starting on Monday night, January 6th on Netflix. That will bleed into the Royal Rumble, that will bleed into the Elimination Chamber, and then finally culminate and end at WrestleMania 41. I said that match on January 6th will give Gunther the direction he needs going into the Royal Rumble. Whoever wins that Punk and Rollins match on January 6th will undoubtedly be the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania against Gunther. That's where I thought we were going. And now all of a sudden, with two separate reports, one from WrestleVotes and one from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, WWE may have changed course and are going in a completely different direction with CM Punk versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41. Now, I want to read to you what WrestleVotes said. We discussed this in the Rollins video that I uploaded a couple of days ago. There had been a rumor that WWE was considering Gunther defending the title against Punk at Survivor Series. That did not happen. Punk was in War Games with the Bloodline. Punk and Roman had a nice little interaction before War Games, and it all stemmed around Paul Heyman. On a recent edition of Backstage Pass, WrestleVotes reported that WWE wants Punk in a world title match at next year's Mania. In comes Seth Rollins, being that we see him feuding now with Seth Rollins, and both are going to be wanting a world championship match, and Punk has mentioned Gunther and the World Heavyweight Championship before, so we all figured that we would be going in that direction. I've heard so many things on Punk, especially as of late with Roman Reigns. But one main factor that I've heard almost all year is that WWE want Punk to be involved in a world title match at WrestleMania. I don't know how the puzzle pieces are going to fit, but they want him at the top. I don't think it'll be with Cody Rhodes, so that's one title match out the window. Does he fit into the other one? I'm going to say yes at this point. I don't think it'll be Gunther. That's the thing. I don't think it's Punk and Gunther. So if they want him involved with the title, then what do you do with Gunther? Now, yesterday, Sean Ross Sapp put out a news article on Fightful Select. Fightful is reporting that they heard via WWE sources that CM Punk versus Roman Reigns at next year's WrestleMania is being heavily discussed. We'd heard a number of weeks ago that this wasn't particularly the plan, but had been adjusted as of late. We're told that CM Punk had also hoped for this match. Roman Reigns and CM Punk have wrestled one televised singles match 11 years ago. The show took place on the WWE Old School Raw edition in January of 2014. Roman Reigns got the W. A number of months later, CM Punk did a post-WWE interview where he mentioned telling everybody that WWE wanted him to make Roman look strong, which was a talking point that stuck around for several years after the fact. Fightful Select was told last year ahead of Punk's return that WWE and Roman Reigns, specifically, Roman Reigns was a talent not keen on him returning. WWE, the rumor was that WWE had no interest in CM Punk, and clearly you saw how quickly that turned around as they ushered him out after Survivor Series last year. But Roman Reigns did not want him back. Roman Reigns did not want anything to do with him, not only because of those comments, but CM Punk making the comment that he made, and then Roman Reigns saying that he's a needle mover, and them going back on that, a needle mover. CM Punk thinks he's the needle mover. Roman Reigns thinking that he's the needle mover. They even made a t-shirt about it. So Fightful is also being told that this is a drastically different direction than what had been planned for both talents even just a couple of months ago, none of which involved The Rock. It was noted to us that if The Rock informs WWE of whatever he wants to do at WrestleMania, much of the card could change, including this discussed match between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. I don't know how I feel about this happening at WrestleMania. Obviously, if it does happen, we are in for something special. And it will revolve around Paul Heyman and the favor that CM Punk has been promised by Paul Heyman, whatever that is. People have speculated that it could be him swaying Paul Heyman to leave Roman and the Bloodline to become his new wise man and get that partnership back together, because Roman is not a changed man. And Paul Heyman is only going to be hurt once again. And Punk wants him back to save him from whatever is coming with Roman Reigns not being a changed guy. Or it could be a situation where Punk has some shortcomings on the road to WrestleMania, and his favor is getting a WrestleMania main event match with Roman Reigns. It doesn't really equal him winning the championship, which could come at any point next year if he stays healthy. But a WrestleMania main event is what CM Punk ultimately wants. He would love if it happens both together, the world title being in the main event of WrestleMania and him winning the world championship there. But, beggars can't be choosers. If he gets one now and one later, I don't really see the big deal. But a WrestleMania main event match is something that he has desired for many years and made a statement about. That is his mission statement. That is him coming back to WWE, him telling us that's exactly what he wants. He felt like he was robbed back in 2014, and realistically, he was. The main event of WrestleMania 30 should have been Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. I will always rest on that mountain. I will always plant that flag at the top of that mountain. I said it then, I said it now, and I will forever say it. That should have been the main event of WrestleMania 30. No ifs, ands, or buts. I don't want to give you guys the runaround. I'm not going to sit here and predict the WrestleMania card. I'm not going to sit here and say, this shouldn't happen. If WWE wants it to happen, they're going to make it happen. And WWE is a very numbers-driven company. The numbers that CM Punk and Roman Reigns collectively did together with the clips coming out of War Games, the clip of Roman Reigns blocking CM Punk from entering the War Games match, only to let Sammy go first ahead of him, and then CM Punk shoving him out of the way when he exited the shark cage to finally enter the match. All of those clips from all of WWE social media have garnered near 70 million views across YouTube, TikTok, and X, and wherever else WWE finds themselves on social media. So if WWE wants to capitalize on Roman Reigns and CM Punk because of the numbers that they did merely for a War Games match at Survivor Series, it is going to be doubled going into the WrestleMania show in Las Vegas for WrestleMania 41. So if WWE wants to capitalize on it now because it's hot, WWE is certainly going to capitalize on it. If you want to think about what CM Punk is doing at WrestleMania, there's only two things that make sense. It's either Seth Rollins or it's Gunther. Now, I'm not really totally invested in a CM Punk and Gunther feud going into WrestleMania. When I look at CM Punk, when I hear CM Punk, I don't think a story with Gunther is going to be the one that's going to be the most exciting going into WrestleMania. That's why I'm not having Punk take the championship off of Gunther. It's a match I'd love to see, don't get me wrong. But I don't think CM Punk and Gunther at WrestleMania, on the road to WrestleMania, is the most captivating story. CM Punk is one of the best storytellers in the history of the business. You're going to put him in the ring with somebody that is on equal plane of him telling a story. Gunther is great, but Gunther is not going to be a Roman Reigns. Gunther is not going to be a Seth Rollins. Gunther is not going to be a Drew McIntyre who's going to tell that captivating, oh man, I can't wait to watch what they do next week type of story. It's just the fact of the matter. I'm sorry. I love Gunther more than anybody, but that's not the match. Seth Rollins. This is why I originally stated days ago when we uploaded this video. If you guys missed it, I'll pin it in the video that you're watching now, or I'll pin it down below. CM Punk and Seth Rollins, realistically, they are each other's WrestleMania opponent. Because if Punk gets Reigns, I don't know what Rollins does. I don't really know what Rollins does at WrestleMania. Unless he gets Gunther, he beats Gunther, and then we just pick up Punk and Rollins after WrestleMania. I have no fucking clue. I have no clue. Maybe Punk's WrestleMania is Roman Reigns, and the favor does get cashed in because he has such a tumultuous WrestleMania season. Rollins gets the best of him, and he's fighting from behind. He gets his WrestleMania match because of the favor he cashes in that he was promised from Paul Heyman, gets Roman Reigns, beats Roman at WrestleMania, and then gets Rollins after the fact going into SummerSlam. That could be a situation. But if Punk and Reigns happens, what does Rollins do? Does he get Gunther? I don't know. Does he get Drew? I don't want to see that match again. We've seen that many times before. I don't really want to see that going into WrestleMania. I don't know what Rollins does. It's a huge question mark. This is why I said Rollins-Punk, January 6th. Rollins bests CM Punk. Rollins beats Gunther at the Royal Rumble. He does. That's the way I'm booking it. So at that point, Punk is in the Rumble because he's not getting the championship match. His only way to WrestleMania is through the Rumble. Rollins is so obsessed with Punk and wants to end Punk. He gets into the Rumble, and we take a page out of the 1997 Royal Rumble with Bret the Hitman Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin and the fucking chaos that happened there, Punk aids in, or Rollins rather, aids in Punk getting eliminated, and Punk has no way to WrestleMania other than the Elimination Chamber. He doesn't win the Chamber. And then that's how we get either Punk and Reigns, or if they want to go Punk in the main event of night one and get him a championship match, he wins the Chamber, and he gets Rollins at WrestleMania. That's what my original idea was. But now with this news coming out, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I really don't. The one thing that really needs to be said here in regards to this story is we don't know because of The Rock. The Rock is the biggest puzzle piece that is going to give us all the answers that we need. And right now, because we don't know where he is, we don't know what he's doing, we don't know what he's thinking, we don't know when he's showing up, January 6th. I don't know what anybody is doing unless The Rock gives us the answer to what he's doing. If The Rock is getting Roman, then Cody is probably getting Randy Orton or John Cena. It's the only thing I could possibly think of. And then Punk is not getting Reigns, he's not getting Cena. Punk is getting Seth Rollins. It's the only way to look at it. It's The Rock. The Rock is the answer to all these questions. I don't know what's going on. If Rock gets Roman, if Rock gets Cody, we don't know what's going to happen with anybody else, because that's the biggest thing that we need an answer to. Is The Rock getting Roman, or is The Rock getting Cody Rhodes? I would rather The Rock get Cody Rhodes. That's my choice in the matter. It's always been the choice because they had an interaction on the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania 40, and I want to see that played out. You're not going to give us a 30-minute segment on Monday Night Raw between those two and then have nothing happen. And then we saw The Rock at Bad Blood, and Cody was a part of the tag team match with Roman Reigns. And nobody knows why that happened. We need answers. There's more questions here than there are answers in regards to The Rock. So does The Rock get Roman? Or does The Rock get Cody? Is The Rock wrestling? Is The Rock not wrestling? I don't know. We'll find out on January 6th because he is going to be there. And he's already mentioned on the road to last year's WrestleMania, WrestleMania 40, that Netflix and WWE didn't sign a $5 billion contract because they asked for Seth Rollins. No, they signed the $5 billion contract because they knew The Rock was on the board of directors and they knew The Rock was back in the WWE family and they knew The Rock was going to be back on WWE television. That's why they aided in $5 billion worth of Monday Night Raw contract. So, I don't really know where else to go. I don't. That's the best I have for you. I'm not here to predict a WrestleMania card. I could give you what I would love to see. I could give you my wants and my desires at WrestleMania. If I'm going WrestleMania, if I'm booking WrestleMania, I'm going Rock and Cody as the main event of WrestleMania 41. Roman Reigns, he's got no other opponents but Solo Sikoa and The Rock. Obviously, out of the two, you're going to go Rock. Nobody wants to see Roman versus Solo. Jacob Fatu, I think, is more of an idea than it is a creative plan right now. I don't think that's the case. Is it a WrestleMania match? Absolutely. I just don't think that's going to be WWE's direction. So, Roman's opponent is either Rock or CM Punk at this point. And The Rock is the answer to everybody's questions. Cody Rhodes, what is he doing at WrestleMania? He's got a little bit more openness to him at WrestleMania. You could see him one-on-one against The Rock. You could see him one-on-one against John Cena, Randy Orton. Cody's got a little bit more of a direction. But again, we need The Rock to fill in the blank to what Cody Rhodes is doing. CM Punk, what is his WrestleMania looking like? It could be Roman Reigns. It could be Seth Rollins. Again, we don't know unless The Rock gives us what he is doing at WrestleMania. The whole thing here is, surrounding this story is, we don't know what's going on unless Dwayne tells us what he's doing. We don't know what's going on until we get to January 6th. We don't know what's going on until The Rock gives us a clear direction as to what he's doing at WrestleMania. And that's it. That's it. If I'm booking this shit, I'm going Rock and Cody. I don't know. I don't know. Then does that get us Punk and Roman? Does Seth go one-on-one with Gunther? What does John Cena do at WrestleMania? Does he get Logan Paul? Does he get Drew McIntyre? I don't know. This WrestleMania season, normally we would be at least in the direction of 3 or 4 matches. Right now, we're in the direction of no matches, which I guess is a good thing. Whatever they did last year, they're completely doing different this year. Last year, we knew exactly what some of the matches were going to be coming out of Survivor Series. This year, going into January, we have no idea what's happening at all. And it all regards The Rock. It all centers around The Rock and what he is doing. Until we find out that, we have our WrestleMania card finally starting to take shape. Let me know what you guys think down below. What do you think are the plans for WrestleMania? Do you want to see Punk happen now? Go one-on-one with Roman Reigns, or would you rather wait till SummerSlam? Let me know what you guys think down below. All I know is Rock is the answer. He's the key to all our answers. And Triple H. I have a feeling that this is going to be the most unpredictable, most chaotic, and most exciting WrestleMania season that we've ever seen. And I truly believe that he is going to give us one to remember. So trust the process. Let me know what you guys think down below. How do you feel about all these rumors with Punk and Reigns? Who do you want to see Punk go one-on-one with at WrestleMania? What do you think of Drew McIntyre and the huge focus that will be on him going into 2025? Sound off in the comments below and let me know what you guys think there. Thank you very much for all your support. SmackDown is not getting a review because overwhelming community vote said no, it's not worth my time at all. So make sure you guys check out everything else on the channel. Collision is happening tonight. I don't know if I'm covering it or not. I'm slightly intrigued with it being at the Hammerstein Ballroom here in New York City because they will be live. So I will make a game time decision on that, being I did not cover SmackDown. So we'll see what happens with that. But there is plenty of content on the channel for you guys to catch up on. And there will be plenty of content still yet to come going into the holiday week next week. So make sure you guys check everything out. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. And hit that subscribe button down below. And please turn on the bell for all notifications. Thank you very much, guys. I will see you back with more content here either tonight or tomorrow right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.